Hello and welcome. This is James Blanchard Cisneros at your service. Today I'll be reading the June 11th Daily Inspirational Message. The condensed version is 2 paragraphs long. Then I'll center myself, say a little prayer, and then make a couple comments on the message. And if you find the message of use, please be so kind as to like the video. Thank you for that. Here we go, the title. Forgiveness gives you power over judgment. Paragraph 1. For every sister and brother that ego insists you judge, God's request is, forgive and you will see them differently. Behind every temporal thought of judgment, there stands your sister's eternal innocence. Beneath every false programmed concept of emotional pain, there lies the option for happiness. Beyond every hurtful word and every sacrifice that you have made to anger and resentment, there remains the possibility of reconciliation, healing, and peace. Forgiveness offers you power over all the thoughts that now seem to have power over you. Forgiveness frees you from thoughts that chain and hold you captive to the ego's world. Forgiveness offers you the opportunity to recall and redefine each moment as the opportunity for growth that it truly is. Paragraph 2. Today ask yourself, is forgiveness really such a high price to pay for my freedom, peace of mind, and joy? For helping me align with the mind of God? Today, be courageous and become the hero of your own journey. Look deep into the mirror and say to yourself, I forgive because I am worthy of God's peace of mind and joy. Do not get frustrated if this is a bridge that you're not yet ready to cross. If you feel like you cannot yet forgive, then ask God to forgive for you. Even in your darkest moment, there is a part of you that is forever one with the divine. Ask that part of you to ask God to forgive and bless those who you cannot yet forgive and bless. Do so each and every time that you think of them, and sooner or later, you will experience the healing inner peace and liberation that forgiveness gives to you. All right. Forgiveness gives you power over judgment. Okay. Let us think about everything that the energy of judgment has brought to our lives. You know, you judge yourself. You judge yourself as not good enough, as not wise enough, as not spiritual enough, as not whatever enough. And you carry the burden of judgment. And then you not only judge yourself, but then you start to judge everybody else around you. You become angry and resentful and hateful and frustrated and feel shame and feel guilt, all because of our addiction to judgment. And so today I'm going to offer 5 thoughts that may assist you in letting go of that judgment and exchanging it for forgiveness and thus for peace. Okay. Point number 1. Let us, before every interaction, have our goal set. Our goal today is to use forgiveness to free us from judgment, to free us from the mindset of judgment. And so when we forgive, we release ourselves from being binded to the ego's world and mindset. We release ourselves from our frustration and anger and resentment and hate and guilt and shame through the act of forgiveness by letting it go. And so we go into every interaction today with the goal of forgiveness. And so no matter what the person thinks, says, or does, our goal is to forgive them. For whatever our ego wants to judge them for or condemn them for, our one goal is forgiveness. So go into the interaction with forgiveness as your constant companion. That's point number 1. Point number 2, remember, no matter how dark the story, no matter how much you're into the resentment or frustration or anger or guilt or shame, no matter the dramatic story that it is, You're always one choice away from peace. And that way to peace is today through forgiveness. And so no matter how challenging the ego story may be, if you can forgive, you can let it go and come back to the state of peace. So in point number 2, remind yourself, no matter how dramatic the ego story is of judgment, I can have peace instead of this. I can forgive and have peace. Peace is just one choice away, no matter how challenging the story. That's point number 2. Point number 3, remind yourself how powerful forgiveness is. Forgiveness gives you power over all of the ego stories, because the ego tries to get you chained into its mindset so that you are a slave to it, so that you support it with your time, focus, and energy, and that way the ego and its stories survive and thrive through you. But you're not here to support the ego's madness. You're here to be the light of the world, the loving light of the world that God created you to be. And one of those expressions and reflections of that love and light is forgiveness. And so when you forgive, whatever that story is, it shows you the power of forgiveness. A lot of times the ego would say, no, forgiveness is weakness. But if forgiveness frees you from all of the ego stories, is it really weakness or is it really power? And so you hold the power by through the free will that God has gifted you. And so today, use that free will to choose forgiveness over judgment, compassion over condemnation, and peace over pain. That's the power that forgiveness offers you in every moment. So remember that. Whenever the ego says, no, you're forgiving, oh, that means you're weak. No. Let it go. And understand the power that forgiveness has to release you from a world that you no longer want, so that you can once again align with who you truly are, with who you truly came to be, which is the light, loving light in this world. And so that's point number 3. Remember the power of forgiveness. Point number 4. Okay. Yes, there are times when our ego is not going to allow us to forgive our brother or sister, at least not immediately. Okay? That's okay. That's part of the human experience. And so, if you cannot forgive your brother or sister, or even yourself, you know what? That's okay. Pause, take a breath, and invite God in. Invite Jesus in, the Holy Spirit, Buddha, Krishna, whoever you love and respect in, and ask them to forgive your brother and sister, to show you the way. Because when Christ or the Holy Spirit is forgiving, or God is forgiving your brother or sister, because you're asking, please forgive them for me, because right now I can't. Right now I'm too attached to the ego story, so I can't forgive them, or I can't forgive myself. Please, God, forgive them for me. Please, God, forgive me for myself. Forgive me. So in that way, when you start to feel what that feeling is of forgiveness, because God is guiding you through, it's breaking that iceberg. It's kind of like a ship in the North Pole that just breaks that ice. Imagine God just breaking that ice of judgment. And then it becomes easier for you to travel that same path. And so when you see the beauty of forgiveness, by God forgiving them, you start to realize, you know what? I think I want this. I want to try this a little bit more. I want to try to be more forgiving and compassionate and loving. Let me try that, because it feels good when I do that. It doesn't feel good when I'm frustrated at my brother or sister, angry with them, resentful, hateful. It doesn't feel good. And so, God, please, forgive my brother and sister for me, so that I can see the wisdom of your ways, so that I can feel the wisdom of your ways. And the more you feel how beautiful that process of forgiveness is, how liberating it is, the more you say to yourself, you know what? I think I want this. I think I want to try this. I think I want to try forgiveness over judgment, compassion over condemnation, and peace over pain. So that's point number 4. If you're too stuck to your ego story and unable to forgive them, invite Source, perfect love, to forgive them for you, and start to notice, watch, and feel that example. And see how true that example is to, how aligned that example is to the truth in you. And point number 5 is something that we love to end with always, because that always closes the sacred circle, is the idea of gratitude. Thanking your brothers and sisters for offering you the opportunities to practice forgiveness instead of judgment. To practice choosing forgiveness instead of judgment. Because the more times you get to practice it, the more times you start to realize that, you know what? Yeah, I think I can do this. I can do this. The more you do so, the more you see how natural that expression of forgiveness is to you, because that's simply a reflection of the love that's inside of you. And the more you get to practice consciously choosing forgiveness over judgment, the more you see that, you know what? Yeah, I get it. I get why this is of use to me, and how I can use this to be a light in this world. So thank you, brother and sister, for being part of my healing process and journey, for helping me present to me the opportunities to forgive you instead of judge you. And when I judge you enough times, I see that that's not the way that I want, and it doesn't bring me anywhere near the state of peace. And so thank you for those opportunities. And now that I do not judge you anymore, because I see that that's a dead-end road, I now forgive you. But it was only because of all those times that I got to practice forgiving you that I now see that this is what I want. And so thank you, brother and sister. So the same brother and sister that the ego would have you condemn, criticize and condemn, is the same brother and sister you now offer your gratitude, because they're the ones who are freeing you from the ego's mindset and world. They are the ones who are freeing you from the prison within your own mind, from that judgment, from the frustration and anger and hatred and shame and guilt. They are the ones who are helping you free yourself. And so if you realize that they're the ones who are helping you practice remembering that it's forgiveness that you truly want, gratitude is the appropriate response to those type of individuals in your life. All right, that's point number 5. Gratitude for your brothers and sisters, participation in your experience. All right, thank you very much for your time. I love you very much. If you found this video of use, please be so kind as to like the video. It helps with the listening process, and it might help somebody be a little bit more forgiving today. All right, I love you, and God willing, we'll see each other tomorrow. Peace.